Welcome to a guide designed to navigate the incredible Vatican Museums. This journey will take us through masterpieces that represent the highest aspirations of the human soul, alongside the rigid cartography of political power. We'll trace a path from the awe-inspiring ceiling of the Sistine Chapel to the geographical expanse of Italy, concluding with essential practical knowledge to make your visit seamless and unforgettable. Our story begins with the ambitious Pope Julius II, famously known as the Warrior Pope, and the reluctant sculptor, Michelangelo. In 1508, Pope Julius II, driven by a vision to rebuild St. Peter's and unify Italy, commissioned Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling. He needed symbols of immense power to replace the then simple, star-spangled ceiling, a testament to his grand aspirations. Michelangelo, however, considered himself a sculptor, not a painter. He initially refused the daunting task, even suggesting Raphael for the job, but was ultimately forced into the commission by the Pope's insistent will. Contrary to popular film depictions, Michelangelo painted this monumental work standing up, with his head tilted back, not lying flat on his back. This physical torment spanned 4 years, from 1508 to 1512, as he completed an astonishing 12,000 square feet of frescoes. Let's delve into one of the most iconic images from the Sistine Chapel, the creation of Adam. Michelangelo masterfully captures the split second before contact, the very spark of life. God, depicted as the active giver of life, stretches powerfully, while Adam, the passive receiver, lifts a languid hand, almost in anticipation. The small, yet profoundly significant, gap of approximately 3/4 of an inch between their fingers represents the unattainability of divine perfection by man, and is often interpreted as the wireless transmission of the soul. The contrast in their depiction is also striking. God is portrayed as an old, bearded man enveloped in a swirling cloak, while Adam is a youth of physical perfection, echoing the classical Apollos of antiquity. Beyond its overt artistry, Michelangelo, an expert in human anatomy from dissecting cadavers, is believed to have embedded hidden codes within his work, right in plain sight. One prominent interpretation is the brain theory. Scholars suggest that the shape of God's swirling cloak closely matches the sagittal section of a human brain, complete with the frontal lobe and brainstem. This suggests that God is bestowing intellect upon Adam, alongside the gift of life. Alternatively, the uterus theory proposes that the red cloth resembles a human uterus, with the green scarf signifying a cut umbilical cord, a literal. When you walk through the Sistine Chapel, the ceiling tells a story in reverse chronology. As you enter and look towards the altar, the narrative actually moves backward in time. The entrance end begins with the first triad, depicting the plight of humanity, notably the stories of Noah. As you progress to the center, you encounter the second triad, focusing on the creation of man, with Adam and Eve. Finally, at the altar end, you see the third triad, illustrating the creation of the world. This backward progression symbolizes the soul's return to grace, moving from the sinfulness of the body, as seen in the drunkenness of Noah, back to the pure spirit of creation, exemplified by the separation of light. The monumental task of painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling came at a great personal cost to Michelangelo. Painting overhead meant paint constantly dripped onto his face, and his body was forced into unnatural, painful curves for hours on end. He famously penned a poem describing his suffering, saying, "I've grown a goiter by dwelling in this den, my beard turns up to heaven, my loins into my paunch like levers grind, I am not in a good place, and I am no painter." The physical toll was severe, resulting in permanent physical damage and a squinting brain and eye, a true testament to the arduous nature of his work. The Sistine Chapel frescoes underwent a highly controversial restoration between 1980 and 1994. For centuries, candle smoke and layers of old, yellowed varnish had darkened the frescoes, leading critics to believe that Michelangelo preferred moody, somber tones. However, the restoration unveiled a vibrant, spring-like palette with saturated colors and a high-key appearance that astonished the art world. Critics fiercely argued that the cleaning removed a secco, or dry layers that Michelangelo might have added for depth. Despite this debate, the Vatican maintains that the restoration recovered the true, original fresco, revealing the brilliance of Michelangelo's initial vision. From the divine, we transition to the earthly dominion, specifically the magnificent gallery of maps. This breathtaking 120-meter, or 394-foot, corridor was commissioned by Pope Gregory XIII between 1580 and 1585. It contains 40 massive frescoes, meticulously depicting the entirety of the Italian peninsula. The primary purpose of this grand endeavor was to allow the Pope to explore the full extent of his spiritual and temporal influence without ever leaving the Vatican. It truly functions as a walk through Italy, stretching from the majestic Alps all the way to the Adriatic Sea. The gallery of maps perfectly illustrates how science met propaganda during this era. The mastermind behind this ambitious project was Ignazio Danti, a Dominican friar, mathematician, and cosmographer. He ingeniously combined ancient Roman itineraries with contemporary surveys to create these remarkably accurate maps. What's truly significant is that these maps presented Italy as a cohesive geographical and spiritual unit under the papacy, long before any political unification of the country. These weren't just decorative pieces, they were powerful tools of administration. The maps were used for practical purposes like tax planning, troop movements, and, crucially, for displaying the vast reach and influence of the Church during the Counter-Reformation. Dante, along with artists like Cesare Nebbia, skillfully filled the negative space on these maps with intricate narrative details. The maps function as historical records, vividly depicting famous battles and illustrating the layout of important ports, such as Venice, precisely as they appeared in 1580. This unique collection brilliantly combines accurate cartography with the artistic flair of Mannerist art and the whimsical charm of grotesque decorations, making each fresco a visual feast of history and artistry. The gallery of maps beautifully embodies the concept of as above, so below. While the walls meticulously depict the geography of the Earth, specifically Italy, the stunning barrel-vaulted ceiling above illustrates the domain of heaven. The narrative on the ceiling frescoes showcases saints, miracles, and significant Old Testament scenes, such as the crossing of the Red Sea. The powerful message conveyed by this arrangement is that the lands depicted below on the walls are divinely protected and guided by the spiritual events and figures portrayed in the heavens above. It's a grand artistic statement of divine oversight. To ensure a respectful and smooth visit, there are a few golden rules you must observe. First, modest dress is required. Shoulders and knees must be covered, so no sleeveless tops or shorts above the knee. Second, absolute silence is paramount, particularly in the Sistine Chapel, as it is a holy sanctuary. Visitors are expected to maintain complete quiet. Third, and critically, no photos are allowed in the Sistine Chapel. This rule is strictly enforced, and guards will make you delete any pictures taken. Finally, for security purposes, large bags and umbrellas must be checked in the cloakroom before you enter the main exhibition areas. Mastering the ticket system for the Vatican Museums is crucial for a stress-free visit. Always book only via the official source tickets. Musei Vaticani, VA. This helps you avoid street resellers and ensures you get legitimate tickets at the correct price. Tickets typically open 60 days in advance, and during high season, they sell out almost instantly, so plan ahead. Pre-booking is absolutely essential to skip the line, as the regular entry queue can take hours. A crucial pro tip: do not buy from vendors on the street outside the walls. These are often scams or vastly overpriced upsells, costing you more than necessary. Timing your pilgrimage wisely can greatly enhance your experience. The best times to visit are either early in the morning, especially with Keymaster, or 7 a.m. tours, or later in the afternoon, after 4 p.m., when crowds typically begin to thin. Be aware that there is a one-way flow through the museums. You will pass through the gallery of maps en route to the Sistine Chapel. Here's a valuable shortcut: a small door in the back right of the Sistine Chapel leads directly to St. Peter's Basilica, allowing you to bypass the security line for the basilica. This shortcut is officially reserved for guided tours only, so consider a tour if this is a priority for you. Our journey through the Vatican Museums has taken us from the neurological secrets hidden within the creation of Adam to the political cartography of the map room. The Vatican Museums are far more than just a tourist attraction. They are a physical manifestation of centuries of theology, ego, science, and profound beauty. As you prepare for your visit, remember to secure your ticket, dress appropriately, but most importantly, once inside, look up. You'll discover a world of wonder.